Mm-mm. Good evening and welcome to Injustice Investigations. I'm Al Scott. The incident happened June 7th, 1998, when three white supremacists in Jasper, Texas, kidnapped 44-year-old James Byrd Jr., tied him by his ankles with a chain, drug him throughout the city for over 3 miles. His body began to break up, and the report says the sad thing about this is that throughout the ordeal, James Byrd was alive. His right arm fell off first, then his head. The white supremacists took his torso and dumped it in front of a black cemetery. But tonight, the last one to be executed is about to receive the ultimate punish for the most diabolical, racist, motivated crime in U.S. history in Jasper, Texas. John William King is set to die at any minute. The Supreme Court at 6:26 p.m. cleared the way for John King to be executed. It's all over. Soon we will be given the information that white supremacist John William King has been executed for the brutal death of James Byrd Jr. in Jasper, Texas on June 7th, 1998. Good evening. Thank you all for tuning in to Injustice Investigations. I'm your host, Al Scott. For all of you who just said hello to me, hello, 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 thank you all for tuning in. You all make my day. I thank you from the bottom of my heart to yours. I humbly bow. Thank you so much. That is a story that we are covering tonight, but it is not the headliner. Tonight we're going to talk about two girls, two cities, two different schools, two deaths in just a matter of days. But we are keeping a close eye on Huntsville, Texas. It is where the execution is getting ready to be carried out, if it has not already been carried out, for the execution of white supremacist John William King. He sat on death row for a little over 20 years. This one of James Byrd's sisters. And again, James Byrd's sister will attend the execution tonight. One of the sisters said that she attended the execution of the first individual who was executed for this very diabolical, heinous crime. She is going to attend the execution tonight. And she said something that was very profound. She said, well, at least he got to live 20 years longer than James Byrd. Wow. It has been a long fight, but tonight is tonight that the ultimate price will be paid for what was done to James Byrd Jr. in Jasper, Texas in 1998. And I remember the case like it happened last night. James Byrd was leaving the anniversary party of one of his friends, and he was walking home when he was kidnapped by three white supremacists. And they took him and for their amusement, their entertainment, with a chain, they tied his ankles to the bumper of their truck and drug him throughout the city, mainly on Asphalt Road, and his body began to break up in pieces. And tonight, John William King will pay for that crime in 1998. I have never been so excited about an execution in my life. He is a monster in human form. He has been existing just to be existing. His mother should have had a miscarriage. This was a wasted nut. But tonight, John will leave planet Earth, never to return again. And I'm glad. We will be monitoring the situation in Jasper, Texas, until we get word that the execution has been carried out. Again, the Supreme Court has called, and they have said there are no more stays of execution. He must die tonight. And it's been a long-awaited execution, and it is about to come to its end tonight in Huntsville, Texas. A reporter from Texas is also one of the witnesses to the execution of John William King tonight. Several minutes ago, people were led into the execution chamber to witness the execution of John William King. The only thing I wish would happen is that it will go wrong. Him and the other guy should have never made execution. Exactly. Yeah, another one has been executed. The other guy has a life sentence, and this is the second execution that James Byrd's sister will witness tonight. The white supremacist who killed her brother back in 1998. But people have been led into the execution chamber to witness the execution of King, and hopefully within the next few minutes I'll be able to tell you all that he has died. That would be great news for me. Tonight, I thank you all for tuning in tonight. And as always, I don't just like to deliver the news. I like feedback, so I want to hear from you. And realize one thing. What I say is not written in stone. It's not law. It's just the way I see it. I'm not always right, and you are not always wrong. But we have a situation in this country that looks like it may become an epidemic. And if you don't catch that epidemic before it begins to spread, once you try to contain it, it gets out of control and it's harder to deal with then. So when we see something that may be going down the road of an epidemic, we need to deal with it in an expeditious way. We have two girls. That's exactly what I said. Someone said, I think it's Maya said, good night. Exactly. It's time to go. And that's basically what the Supreme Court told the attorney. Tell your client, Robert William King, it's over. Good night. We're done. So we have two black girls, two different cities, two different schools, two fights, two deaths. A 13-year-old girl in Houston, Texas, Kadasha Francis, had a fight last Thursday with some girls outside of her school. Somewhere during the attack, another girl walked up. I think the fight was just about over, and that girl kicked Kadasha in the head. Kadasha went home that day. Then she told her mother what had happened, that she had been in a fight. She had bruises on her face and her arms, but she said she was fine. She didn't want to go to the doctor. It was just a fight. She was attacked by two girls. It was a Thursday. And then the other girl jumped in and kicked her in her head. She didn't want to go to the doctor. So we thought everything was fine. The parents thought everything was fine. She began to tell her mother that her head hurts bad. She became delusional. Temporarily, she came back to her right mind. But one Sunday, she was speaking with her mother over the phone, and she said, "Mom, my head hurt. It's pain. It hurts real bad. Real bad." So they called the paramedics. By the time first responders got there, she was unconscious. She was not responding. She was taken to the Texas Children's Hospital. Someone said, Samantha, this is out of control, and someone exactly. And that's why we're discussing this tonight, Samantha. You're absolutely right. She was taken to a local hospital, Texas Children's Hospital, where she would later be put on life support. The doctor informed her mother, Miss Jackson, that your daughter has a tumor on her brain, and it has trying to find my notes. It leaked out fluid, and she was internally bleeding. She later would be pronounced dead. She's in Houston, Texas. She's 13 years old. I saw her mother being interviewed, and she said she could just imagine her daughter being beat and her in somewhat of a fetal position crying. No one was there to hurt her. And the end result is not a happy result. She died. A few days ago, another young girl, I think she was from South Carolina, and I'm trying to find her paperwork. Her name was, I think, Renita White. She got into a fight with several girls at school. That fight also sent her to a local hospital. A few days later, she would be pronounced dead. But school officials and the police say they thought that her death was a result of the fight, but it wasn't. That she had an internal illness that the family did not know about, and that's what killed her, not the fight. The family is disputing their findings or what they said they found, and I totally agree with them. I've read some other reports today as I was trying to prepare for tonight's show, is that, well, the investigator was saying that the media got it wrong. The media went off of what the kids said, that the kids were asked to write a statement on paper, what they saw, if they saw anything. And some of those reports said that her head was beaten up against a wall or a locker, I think. And the investigators and the school officials said, no, that's not true. The kids are basically saying that. So they are going against everything that the students are saying. Well, here's my thing. If you're going to go against what the students are saying after you ask them to write down what they saw, if they saw anything, it didn't do you any good to ask the students to write something down if you was going to not pay it any attention or say it was just a lie. I don't believe that she may have had an internal illness that they didn't know about. I seriously doubt it. So what I'm saying is that there is a cover-up somewhere here. And so now we have another young girl that has been killed. And we have investigators and school officials saying that no. They just were slapping each other. That's all they did. They slapped one another. So that didn't kill her. Really. I just don't believe it. So my question tonight, as I know we are pressed for time, I want to ask you all the question. And I want you to be as honest as you can. Somebody says, Semester, is there a line in South Carolina? I don't know who. And I too agree. I don't know why there's been a cover-up. I don't know if it's something that medical staff didn't do but should have done. or maybe something they did attributed to her death. I don't know, but I'm not buying what they're saying. I'm just not. So my question tonight is that this is starting to get out of hand. So the question is, who do we blame? Do we blame the children? Do we blame the parents? Do we blame the schools? Or do we blame them all? Do we take these young girls and arrest them? They're juveniles, but arrest them and try them as adults? Or do we arrest and try them as adults? Or do we arrest them and try them as what they are, juveniles? So what do we do? So what do we do? That's why I'm asking you all tonight to tell me, what do we do? Who do you think should be blamed for the deaths of these two young girls? One's in Texas, one's in South Carolina. The children that they had to fight with, the girl that kicked her in the head. Do we blame the parents? Or do we blame school officials? I was just going to say that someone says, Robin Banks says, hello, everyone. And I can understand that because it's a very disturbing, perplexing case. Because if we blame the parents, so let's say hypothetically, we blame the parents. Here's what will happen. Then the parents may have to be arrested and go to jail because the parents are responsible for their children. The parents are indeed responsible for their children, but to a degree, we have to understand that the parents are not with their children 24/7. So even when we have taught them right from wrong, we cannot be with them all the time. So you arrest me as a parent because you said I failed. And I don't think I failed, because when a child reaches a certain age, regardless to what has been instilled into them, he or she will do whatever they want to do, not understanding the consequences. They had the ability to choose what they did that day, whether they fought or not. They had the ability. They had the ability to make that choice. But here's what they don't have. They don't have the ability to determine the consequences that they must face behind their diabolical, immature actions. So do we lock them up until they're juveniles? Or do we try them as adults? Or do we lock the parents up? Or what about the schools? This is a serious issue, especially after the school was aware of the concern from the parents. And I agree with that because when we drop our kids off at school, we're still responsible for them. But to a degree, we entrust our kids to the school that they attend. So which means that I've studied your school, your teachers, your principal. I believe my child will do good here as far as education is concerned. But I'm also entrusting my child to you on the grounds that you will keep my child safe. And this is not happening. So do we blame the school? Or as someone says, do we blame everybody? And again, I've asked this several times. Do you charge the little girls or kids as juveniles? Or do you charge the juveniles as adults because they have stepped into the shoes of adults and committed a crime that possibly has led to someone's death? They don't fully understand their actions. I understand that. But we have to get to a point in this society where we say, now, wait, now, we can't keep letting you all do this and you're getting away scot-free. Because the longer we do this here, the more this will happen. So children must be held accountable for their actions. I don't think we can go and just say, well, I'm going to lock the parents up because this is your child. Well, I'm not at school with my child. You cannot fault me for that. my child. I love my child. I've taught my child the values of life. Our girls, we have validated them at an early age at home so they don't go in the streets looking for validation. We taught them right from wrong, good from evil, how to respect people, how to treat people. So they're my children, and I didn't commit to act. So you arrest me because of what they did. I think that's unfair. That's just the way I see it. That's why I'm asking you all. Someone says that I think the child should be going to a YA, the youth authority, until she is either 18 or 21. I didn't get the individual's name. That was a great post right there. Okay, and so uh, there's a response there. But here's the thing. So when they reach adulthood, we let them out back into society. Has being in juvenile rehabilitated them, or has it schooled them on how to become more and more better criminals, if that makes any sense? What were they doing while they were incarcerated? Because sometimes they come out worse than they went in. But you have two families that have lost their daughters at the hands of children. And if you've never lost your child that way, and I haven't, we cannot lie and say, I understand, I feel your pain. I don't understand. I don't feel your pain. It hasn't happened to me. But I do know something needs to be changed. We just can't keep letting, in my opinion, kids get away scot-free. Then it's going to be open season on fighting. Subpoena to be known to be prison authority. Tracy Roger, rapper, I think, says, where were the teachers? That's a big question. Where were the teachers at during the fights? One investigator said the fight didn't last but a few seconds. They said a substitute was on the phone. So I'm assuming the individual named Annie, I think, is familiar with the case, has a child going to that school because she says that the substitute teacher was on the phone. So it's a dilemma. My condolences goes out to both of the families. And I know it's easy to be upset with children or anyone who has interrupted your family's life by killing your child. And it's hard for you to look at them and see them as just children when these children acting as adults kill your child, or at least led to the death of your child. When do we say enough is enough? Someone says, yes, I looked into this case. This is what has been stated that they were doing. Okay, that they're on their cell phones or whatever. Well, if that be the case, then we know policies and things like that needs to change. Okay, Timothy Davis says, so now do we hold the school responsible? That's Timothy Davis. That's my question. I don't know. I mean, I believe the school may have to accept some of the blame, but not all of the blame, because teachers, just like parents, cannot be there all the time. But when you are in a school, and hopefully you have resource officers on the campus that walks and stuff. And if you have surveillance cameras, well, that's okay to a degree. But if there's nobody there monitoring, looking at the surveillance camera, well, that don't mean a damn thing, because looking at the camera is only going to be after the fact. So someone needs to be sitting there looking at the cameras in real time to prevent such things as this. And for all we know, the school could be lying about the girl that they said had an illness already that the parents didn't know about. But even if that would be the case, it still does not take away from the fact that what role do the school play in the death of these two young girls? Okay, I don't know what the hell is going on, but we keep like the other week we're having a bad connection from somewhere. I'm getting something in from USA Today. Let me see what's going on in Texas. Has he been executed yet? But again, the question remains the same: who do we really blame? And kids as an adult, then I mean, how much time? And so, if you try kids as an adult, how much time is enough time for them to do in prison as juveniles, but being tried as adults? So, I mean, someone asked earlier, do I think they should be tried as adults? I don't know because, okay, we are getting word in right now that John, I think, has been put to death. Okay, yes. Uh, John William King has been put to death for the killing of uh, James Byrd Jr. in 1998 on June 7th in Jasper, Texas. Again, white supremacist John William King has been executed for the 1998 death of 44-year-old James Byrd Jr. And there's some more reports coming in. We'll give you the exact time of when he was pronounced dead. Um, and not only did he play a role in the killing of James Byrd, investigators said that he orchestrated the crime right down to the T and stuff. So you hear phones and things are ringing because um, the reports are coming in that he was executed by lethal injection Wednesday night in a Texas prison. John William King was 44 years old. Tell you what time he died real quick, and we're gonna get out of here. He was put to death at 7:08 p.m. at the Texas State Penitentiary in Huntsville. Again, white supremacist John William King has been executed for the 1998 death of James Byrd Jr. in Jasper, Texas. I'm Al Scott with Injustice Investigations. As always, we apologize for the interruptions tonight, but I thank you all so much for being faithful to uh, this show. And this will be a series. We'll continue this as to who do we blame, parents, the teacher, the kids, or all. I thank you all for tuning in to Injustice Investigations. I'm Al Scott. Y'all be blessed.